Right. Today we have some special visitors, father and son. Let me ask them to introduce themselves. You are YouTube fans as well? So
We
you
are
follow.
big YouTube fans.
Okay,
Yes,
so can you
yes.
just introduce yourself?
Hello, Peter. I'm Simon.
Yes.
I'm Sam.
So father and son.
Father and
It's
son.
not
yes.
often that we get father and son doing bonsai. I sometimes have young children who come with their parents and they're
Okay.
interested, but you know, it's quite a rare thing and it's very nice. So you can have the tradition passed on, which is very,
Absolutely.
very nice. So you've come all the way from King's Lynn, which is what,
Near,
about
near King's Lynn, yeah. up
200
Norfolk.
odd miles, is it?
No, that's
No?
2.5 hours.
2.5
About
hours.
130.
Okay.
About that.
So that is Norfolk.
Norfolk.
Norfolk, all right.
Yes.
So you come a long way just to visit the
Just
ministry.
to visit you, Peter.
And I'm going to give you a special treat because you expressed interest in a forest. So not only have you bought some trees, but I'm going to give you a special demonstration on how to make a forest. So we've chosen here the dawn redwoods and the famous Picea, which is the dwarf Alberta spruce. So this is going to be quite a long video. So let us start with, I think, there's a small group that you want to make. Which one? How many trees did you choose from that?
And it was 5.
Five?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with this one. I always say that making forest is like doing flower arrangement. It's as simple as that. Because you're just arranging the trees so that it looks nice. And with the forest, we usually keep the trees straight, and you've chosen very well because we're going to use trees of different heights, so tall and thin. So let's begin by trimming some of these trees. The reason why forests are made with tall, straight trees is when you go into a forest, especially these commercial plantations, when the trees are growing close together, they're all squashed up like that. So we don't want wide spreading branches. So we don't need long branches like that. So we keep the branches always trimmed back. And each tree is like a tall A shape. You see how the tree is like a tall conifer. That means pointy like that, and the branches lower down are slightly wider. So every tree is going to be that shape. So if you have a go, trim it so that you get
There you go,
some
Sam.
experience. Trim all these. So pointy and then
So
these
fat,
low
fat
ones.
at the bottom, yeah, okay.
Okay. No, start from the top, pointy, and then as you come lower down, they're slightly wider. So we do that to all the trees. Very good. Choosing trees of different heights is very good because you want a contrast. You don't want them all the same size. I like to keep some of the branches clear at the base so that you see more of the trunk. So each tree is going to look like that. That's fine. Okay, that's all done. So this is a tricky one, maybe the dead little bit we take out. These are dawn redwoods, and at this time of the year, the dawn redwoods do get burnt by the sun very easily. You can't help it. We've had an exceptionally hot summer, and trees have been literally getting scorched and burnt by the sun. It doesn't mean it kills the tree, it just makes it look a little bit unsightly for the time being. But once you prune the dead foliage off, the new foliage will come again. So don't despair, don't despair. So as long as it's in this rough conical shape, wide at the base, like that. At this time of the year, we can't take too much root off. In fact, I try not to take any root off. And then arranging a forest is, as I said, like flower arranging. So we put the tallest tree towards the middle and the shorter trees at the side. So they will form a triangle shape. Not only that, I don't want them all to be in a straight line. What you must never do in making a forest is just put them straight like this, what we call soldiers on parade. You don't want that. It doesn't look natural. So you want them spaced so that you have depth as well. Try it in different positions. So even turning the tree around makes it look different, you know?
Yes.
So that is the sort of thing you're trying to create. And because you've only chosen 5 trees, I think we can get them. These are typical shallow oval pots. These are plastic, but you can buy ceramic. They're made in Taiwan. Some are made in Japan. And they look nice in this.
Yeah.
So such a big plastic pot is only 10 quid. This is 8 quid. So we can put it in this. So if I ask you, I'll jumble it again. You have a go to arrange it yourself. But before I do that, I will just pass on another tip. And this is tying the trees into the pot. You don't have to tie it in the pot, but if you tie it in the pot, then the trees don't get dislodged and they don't get accidentally pulled out. So with 5 trees, I think 1 piece of wire can, no, maybe 2. Let's put 2 pieces of wire. And we will tie 3 trees with 1 wire and 2 trees with another piece of wire. So this is just 1 millimeter wire that I'm using. So this is just a good practice to follow.
And that just goes round the base of the trees.
Yes, I'll show it off. Don't forget to do it. And because these plastic pots have got very small drainage, you see the mesh is also built into the pot. So you don't have to put mesh. So you leave it like that. And then I'll leave you to play around with it.
So the big trees go in the middle?
Yes, big trees go in the middle.
Work around that.
Not in a straight line, not too regimental.
Play around with it till you feel it looks right.
Doesn't matter if they stick out a little bit, does it?
No. So,
And as that one what we look. Probably that one what we
I think that's the back, yeah.
maybe.
Actually,
Oh, no, no, no.
because that's quite bushy.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
that's
stand
it.
back and have a view with the camera.
As that looks like.
I think you can't see some of the trees. Perhaps move this a little to the side there.
Yeah.
All right, these trees are all straight. The other variant is that you can make it splay out
Oh, yeah.
in fan shape as well. That's another way to do a forest. You see? Slightly
That's better.
splayed out. You like it like that?
Well,
Yeah, that's
I
quite
do.
nice, yeah.
This is quite nice, huh?
Yeah.
So that's another way to do the forest. Huh? Like that. So if you're happy with this,
Yes,
we
yes.
just keep it. And that's all there is to making a forest. And then we put the wire on. He was asking how to do. We loop it once, but you must remember to take the wire off after about 6-9 months in case the wire bites around the trunk and strangles the tree.
And that's just a case of cutting it up.
Yeah, just cut it off.
Yeah.
So as we say, making a forest group is the simplest thing. It's one of the simplest things in bonsai. But having said that, there's a bit of artistic skill involved, isn't it? It must look nice.
Yeah, look, that's good.
Need to have a good eye.
See, so we're putting it, just playing out a little
Just
bit.
Yeah, it looks well.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And all we do now is fill a bit of soil, which we can do later. How easy is that?
Very
All right,
easy.
now it's your turn.
Nothing to it.
Okay, so now project number 2 is Daddy is going to do his bit.
Well, we'll give
All
it
right,
a go.
so look at these lovely big dawn redwoods. These dawn redwoods are really rapid growers. In the spring, they were only that tall, and by the middle of summer, it's double the height.
Yeah.
So this is good value. We charge only £15 for these. The other ones are £8 for little ones, and see the roots coming right through. So don't worry about that. They're so vigorous you can easily cut the root off to get it out of the pot. But there's plenty root in each of these pots. Look at that.
Yeah,
It's
full of
so
root.
pot bound even. Okay, so Simon, if you kindly take the trees out of the pots,
Yep.
and then we will do some trimming. I see you've chosen 7 trees, 4 big ones and 3 small ones, so that is perfect. I'm going to tell you about the choice of numbers. You were asking me why people use you know, the odd numbers, 5, 7, and all that. Now, I never tire of saying this, but because I'm ethnic Chinese, the Chinese are superstitious people. And they believe that 4 is an unlucky number. Not only the Chinese, the Japanese. If you go to Japan, there is no number 4, no 4th floor. There is a 4th floor, but it's not numbered. They keep it as a plant room for machinery and dining tables and things like that, or beds for the hotel. But they will never show number 4 on the lift. You can't press number 4.
Oh.
So the reason why they don't have number 4, because it's considered very, very unlucky. You go to Canada where there's a huge Chinese population, they don't have a 4th floor, they don't have a 13th floor, and they don't have flat number 13 or flat number 4. So it's so unlucky. They don't want to upset the customers. Anyway, so we've got a nice mixture of trees, and we won't talk about the pot just now. We will first do the trimming again, if you remember what we said.
Yeah.
So we're going to give it a conical shape, so broad at the base like that, and as it gets to the top, I think I will use the whole height. You just take the very tip out. And although this is like a twin trunk, I'll still keep that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do one and then you can do the other one. So that is the shape you want for the forestry. Look at this. Very nice, isn't it? So pleasing.
Yes, no
Okay,
shape.
now you do the other ones, please. And I'll help you do the small ones too. You've never made a forest before?
No.
Okay.
This is all very new to me.
Okay.
Yes, and you and it's
Yes. You bought some material to make the forest with.
Yeah. I've got some larch material at times to make one, but
larch
that's
makes very nice forest too.
yeah.
I think I've mentioned before that most ordinary members of the public, they love the forest. When you go to flower shows and bonsai shows, you know, people who don't know much about bonsai just love the forest, and yet they are the easiest things to make. They're not expensive because it's just relatively young plants put together in a forest, and yet it attracts so much, what you call it, comment and pleasure because they look beautiful.
This one's got more at the top than it has at the bottom.
Yes, yeah, but so there's pointy at the top. So tall, like the shard, you know how the shard
Yeah,
looks? That sort of shape you're making. Have some practice doing that.
Should have been a hairdresser, really.
Yeah, people always tell me that. I have a very good friend. I think he's going to watch the video. He watches every video. He's an Italian hairdresser.
Oh, blimey. How's that?
I know 2 Italian hairdressers, one in Bournemouth and one in Walton. And they all tell me that I should have become a hairdresser. But I say to them, I would have made more money being a hairdresser than growing bonsai.
Oh, I don't believe
You
that.
know, all these top ladies hairdressers, they earn thousands and thousands of pounds in the West End, especially.
Got a good clientele.
Yes, you pay anything.
Oh, another one.
Another one, again, top here. So already, see, just putting it together like that, what more do you want? Yeah, that's all there is to it. Simple. You see, this is where these leaves got burnt. If you come close, cameraman, see these tips got burnt by the sun, but already the new growth is coming from there. So don't worry if they do get burnt. A lot of customers say, oh, my poor tree got burnt, you sold me a duff tree. Not so, it's the heat, you know, you can't really stop this heat from troubling us. So something like that you're going to make.
Aye.
Huh?
Yeah, looks good.
What is there to it, isn't it? So choice of pots. Now this is not a traditional pot for growing a forest, but let's grow it in this rather than use a seed tray. I bought some seed trays because you may have seen me in the past using seed trays. This is a special commercial seed tray that we use. You can easily put it in there. And once the roots mesh together, you can lift the whole lot out and put it on a slab of slate or put it in another bonsai pot, so you can use this. So, but I like, and I think Simon likes to use this plastic bonsai pot. and it will give it room to grow. And again, we will put 2 pieces of wire there to stabilize the tree so that they don't get dislodged. All these little tips and tricks have evolved over the years. As I say, there's no right and a wrong way to do it. Different people use different methods, different techniques. I use this technique. It works for me, and I'm happy to pass the tips on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether the Japanese growers do this, because they, like most commercial growers, they rely on the trees to get established, because once the trees get established and the roots mesh together, they're not going to escape or go anywhere. So they're not bothered about tying it. You don't have to, but it's just a precautionary measure.
Just holds it all together.
Yeah, holds it all together. It makes sense, doesn't it? It does make sense. A lot of everyday common sense things. Okay, now I will now ask you to arrange it in the way you like. So you get the practice. Okay, remember you have the tall one in the middle, shorter one at the side, and making a triangular shape. Make the trees face so that you can see the full triangular shape. And as you turn it on, you see here. You keep arranging it. So the species to use for making forest, dawn redwood very popular. The Piceas are popular. Maple is popular. Larch. Pines are not so popular because they tend to have more character in the branches and they're better used as individual trees. Now the placement of the small trees, we usually prefer to keep the small trees at the back. If you come down this way, cameraman, let's show. Now, if you do painting, you will know that if you put small objects at the back, it looks that they are in a distance.
It gives a bit of depth.
It gives depth, absolutely right. So usually putting small trees at the back help to achieve that effect. So make sure you can see every tree. Doesn't matter if you have some trees at the side, but usually trees at the back. Like I would say this is better at the back. Bring this tall one in the front maybe.
Put this one at the back.
Yeah, maybe at the back. Yeah, like that. You see? Do you think that's better? And then try the little one at the side there, or at the side here. How about that?
Yeah,
You like that?
That looks good.
You look like, okay? You feel it
Yeah,
looks good?
Yeah, yeah.
Then just wrap the wire around each of these and then we're done. You enjoying it?
Yes, it's quite interesting to see how it's all done and how easy it is. Really.
How easy it is,
You just
absolutely.
need to have a good eye.
Yes,
obviously.
that's right.
So how long roughly would you say it takes until the roots do mesh together?
I would say now we're in the middle of August. So you got whole of August to September, October, 2.5 months more to grow. So it will mesh by the end of the year.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. Right, so this group has now been planted with the compost. And Sam was just asking, we would like to put some rocks. Thing is not to overdo the rocks, just put the odd rock to appear that, it's growing on the slope of a mountain. And although I don't have a lot of moss, I'll try and find some moss. We'll put some moss around it and then it should look okay. Don't place rocks all over the place. Wait till we find some moss and then you'll see the big difference. Like this one too. This one, for want of a better word, this looks like a piece of rock, doesn't it? But what it is,
Concrete.
a bit of broken concrete. Yeah. But you wouldn't
Still
be able
get
to
the same
tell.
effect.
Yeah, same effect.
Yeah.
So I'm a great one for not wasting money, You can use ordinary things and still look nice. This is a proper type of rock that comes from China with some of our indoor trees, you can put that. Just the odd rock here and there.
Yeah, looks good.
So as I say, I'm going to find some moss to finish it off. But meanwhile, because I promised to show you how to make a forest with these Piceas. Now the Piceas, again, these are lovely trees. So look at it. You don't want too many branches. You don't want low branches. So a typical way of pruning this for a forest would be to keep the branches quite high, keep the branches quite sparse as well. Again, we don't want too many branches. This is where you've got to exercise some skill. And I promise you I'm not going to cut everything off. I sometimes get our YouTube fans, they're so enthusiastic. They show me pictures of what they've done, and many people have pruned too much off. Don't go too crazy. So always try and visualize in your mind, what would you see in a forest when you go, you know? The trees are growing tall and straight, and because they're growing tall and straight, the branches are close together. Someone also mentioned in one of the comments I was reading the other day, why are you using a juniper to make it look like a pine? Well, this is the whole essence of bonsai. We're using a different species to create something which is another species in real life. And that's what bonsai is about. It's a medium, you know, it's a medium of expression. So we are creating images of trees, and the species you use is really not important. But what you mustn't do, sometimes people make their maples look like pine trees. That would be wrong. But generally speaking, you don't want them looking like a species which is not. If you want it to be meticulous and you want it to be a perfectionist, you should wire the branches downwards. I do it with my larches. So these fine branches, maybe I don't need this one. Clean the trunk. So you should wire the branches down. I showed in another video when I was doing the Cedar of Lebanon forest. That one, I did wire the branches down, because as trees get older, by having the branches down like that, it makes it look older. You see, you can take your time and wire all these branches down like so. So each tree will look like that. So I'm not going to do all of them because I don't want to deny you the pleasure of doing it yourself. So from this to this, that's a model for you to do. Okay. And then you put it together. Okay. You may like to do it at home, it doesn't matter. But at least we've shown you two demonstrations.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Right, so here under my magnolia tree there is some moss left. But because of the hot summer, all the moss has dried up. So this is what I do. I scrape the moss off the drive. I'm sure most of you have it. I know people who are keen on keeping their drives clean. They jet it off, isn't it? Or they put chemical to kill the moss. But for bonsai people, this is absolute treasure. Okay. Okay, so we just place the moss. It's like laying carpet. And people really enjoy doing this little bit.
Okay. Finishing touches.
Finishing touch, absolutely. Even at major bonsai shows in Japan, the apprentices go out, you know, just before the show to collect moss. Normally the moss is greener than this, but because it's been so dry, the moss, whatever moss we have, is still brown. So there you are. You can put maybe one more piece of rock. I haven't got enough. So this is what we made today. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it.
That's been very interesting.
So,
thank you very much.
Are you a regular viewer?
Yeah, we are. We look forward to this one.
Okay. In about 2-3 weeks we show you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.